Hello everyone, I'm Zoey from NETEASE Cloud Music as a product manager. Today we are going to discuss the topic how to become a great product manager. For an aspiring product manager, there are three primary considerations when evaluating the role: core competencies, emotional intelligence, and company fit. The best PMs have mastered the core competencies, have a high EQ, and work for the right company. The last requires thinking about the level of technical skill the company requires, its philosophy of the PM role, and the stage of the company, and the relationship it will have with the senior management. So let's start it with the first part, core competencies. There are core competencies that every PM must have, many of which can be learned in the classroom, but most are developed with experience, good role models, and mentoring. Some examples of these competencies include conducting consumer interviews and using testing, and running design sprints, future prioritization, and roadmap planning, the art of resource allocation, and performing market assessments, translating business to technical requirements, and pricing and revenue modeling, and finally, defining and tracking success metrics. These core competencies are the baseline for many or any PM, and the best PMs on these skills over years of defining, shaping, and interacting on products. These PMs excel at reflecting on where each of these competencies have contributed to the success or failure of their products and adjusting their approach based on consumer feedback. And next part, we are going to talk about emotional intelligence. A good PM may know the do's and don'ts of a consumer interview, but the best PMs have the ability to emphasize with consumers in that interview, are turned into their body language and emotions, and can suss out the pain points that the product or feature will address. A PM with a high EQ has strong relationships within their organization and a keen sense of how to navigate both internal and external handles to shape a great product. Here's a deeper look at how the four key traits of EQ related to the PM role. The first trait is relationship management. Probably one of the most important characteristics of a great PM is their relationship management skills. By forming authentic and trustworthy connections with both internal and external stakeholders, the best PMs inspire people and help them reach their full potential. Relationship management is also vital in the successful negotiation, resolving conflicts, and working with others toward a shared goal, which is especially challenging when a PM is tasked with balancing the need of consumers, resource-constrained engineering team, and the company's revenue goals. The second trait is self-awareness. PMs must be self-aware so as to remain objective and avoid projecting their own preferences onto users of their products. If a PM is in love with a feature because it addresses their own pain points, PMs are often super users of the products for which they are responsible. They may cause a user to say they love it too, just to please the PM. If not self-aware, a PM may push to prioritize a feature they convinced, even when all the consumer interviews and evidence are stacked against it. This lack of self-awareness could derail more important priorities or damage the PM's relationship with engineers, who may lose confidence in their PM when the feature isn't readily adopted by users. The third trait is self-management. Being a PM can be very stressful. The CEO wants one thing, the engineering team wants another, and consumers may have their own opinions about future priorities. Managing tight guidelines, revenue targets, market demands, prioritization conflicts, and resource constraints all at once. It's not for the faint of heart. If a PM cannot maintain their emotions and keep it cool under pressure, they can quickly lose confidence of all their friends. The best PMs know how to push hard on the right priorities with urgency, but without conveying a sense of panic or stress. These PMs also know when to take a breath and step away to regroup. And next part, we move to company fit. If the best PMs have well-developed core competencies and a high EQ, does that mean they are designed or they destined for success no matter where they work? Not really. In fact, taking these skills and personality traits and applying them to the right company is what will ultimately guarantee success. Here are a few of key areas in which companies differ in what they want for a PM. First one is technical skill. The type of product, who use it, and the type of company will determine how technical a PM needs to be. For example, Google requires PMs to pass a technical skill test regardless of what product they will work on. If the company is building SaaS, they are more likely to be more requirements around experience with go-to-market and consumer life cycles than around how the product is built. By contrast, if it's a data science product with machine learning, the role may require a lot of technical depth to not only understand how to build the product, but also how to talk credibly with the consumers who will use it. That said, having a basic technical understanding of what is under the hood and mastery of the tools that PM use is definitely important for the role, anywhere it is. And the second part is company philosophy about PM. Every company has a different philosophy about the product development process and where PMs fit into that process. Below are the three most common types. The first one is PM drives engineering. This is a throw it over the wall approach, where PMs gathering requirements, writing the product requirements document, which is also called PRD, and hand it off to engineering to spec out the technical requirements. Contemporary organizations may do this process in a more agile and collaborative way, but the expectation is that PMs know best about what consumers need, and engineering is there to serve. And the second type is engineering drives product. Companies that make more technically oriented products, such as cloud, big data, and networking services, tend to be engineering driven. Engineers advance the science in their domain, and PMs validate solutions or create front-end access points to tap into this new technology. There can be a collaborative relationship and feedback loop between consumers, PM, and engineering. But typically, PMs are serving engineering in these companies. And the third type is the PM engineering partnership. In these cases, there's a strong yin-yang between PM and engineering, with joint discovery, decision-making, and shared accountability. Engineers join PMs in consumer interviews, and PMs are in sprint meetings to help unblock tasks or clarify requirements. But the two roles respect each other, where one starts and the other stops. So finally, we talk about the topic about stage of company. The role of the PM at a startup is far more likely to be responsible for all the things, whereas at a mature company, their role will be more distinctly defined. Well, let's first talk about startup. Beyond the discovery, definition, and shaping, PMs may also be responsible for pricing, marketing, support, and potentially even sales of the product. These PMs thrive in a scrappy environment and are comfortable with ambiguity and frequent changes to direction as the company works toward product market fit and learns to operate at the scale. And for a mature company, they are likely to be part of a larger team of product managers. PMs are more likely to have mentoring the role models, as well as development standards and best practices. Close association with an engineering team can create strong relationships over time, which is growth and great for long-term impact and career growth. And if the product has market fit, there's an established consumer base and performance baseline to work from versus guessing until you get it right. The next part is about founder, CEO, or CTO relationship with PM. Especially in some earlier stage companies, it's important to know how involved the founder, CEO, CTO is in the product process. If they are deeply involved, the PM role may play more of a support role to flesh out their ideas or validate concepts with consumers versus convincing and driving ideas of their own. This can be great fun for some PMs who enjoy partnering with founders and C-level executives and collaborating on the product evolution. But for other PMs, it can be very frustrating if they prefer to take more ownership of the product direction. It can also be challenging if the more technical founders or C-level prefer working directly with engineers. This can leave PMs out of the loop or undermine, causing not just personal frustration but delays. When considering a PM role that may work closely with the founding leadership team, be sure to find out the expectation of the PM function and decide whether it is the right fit with your interest. And there are, of course, many other factors to consider for any role, such as the type of product you are building, for example, B2B, B2C industry, or the people with whom you will work, the overall company culture, like diverse, inclusive, flexible work hours, remote culture, and of course, the compensation and benefits. There are also lots of articles like you can have a look at. But however, if you are striving to be a great product manager, consider all of the above before signing on to your next gig. Developing core competencies will be an ongoing activity throughout your career, and the learning EQ will ensure a more positive experience. But where you work, how they work, and who you work with, and for determine your long-term success. Well, I think that is the end of today's discussion. If you are interested in product manager or you are already being a product manager, the practical word will teach you a lot. And welcome to the practical word to have a try. And I think this is all today's discussion. Thank you guys. Bye.